I got fired from my first job at Deloitte, one of the big four public accounting firms, and I still led a successful career. And the purpose of this video is to show you how to navigate tricky situations like getting fired or getting laid off, or even just finding a new job. What's important when you're going through these things, and what I did to try to get myself into a position to make multiple six figures. My name is Eddie Gramajo. I'm a CPA. I make content to try to help accounting students and early career accountants get through the career in a successful way. So if you do want more advice, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, make sure to subscribe. Let's jump into the video. When I was in college, I went through all these networking events. I ended up with 2 offers by the time I graduated, one from KPMG and one from Deloitte. I ended up choosing Deloitte because it was in a city that I wanted to be in. They had some of the big clients that I wanted to be a part of. And it was in a smaller office. So I wanted to, I went to a small private school. So I wanted to be, not so overwhelmed by meeting so many people. So it felt like Deloitte in that city was the right place for me to go. So I ended up accepting that. I ended up getting promoted to audit senior assistant. So that was the kind of year 2 mark. So I thought I did pretty well in that first year. That second year, I think my productivity just fell. I kind of look back and I reminisce on things where I was trying to automate in places where I just needed to get the work done, or I was missing some deadlines and, aiming for, quality over speed in some areas. So, or promising, under delivering, different things like that. And there were some external things going on, and all to say, by month 18, I ended up getting let go. I remember I walked into the office. I had a calendar invite to meet with the partner and meet with the HR person, and then ended up, by the afternoon that day, ended up getting let go. One of the things that I immediately did was figure out what I wanted to do next and figure out a plan to do that. So what I ended up doing was figuring out, okay, I want to get into tech, but how do I do that? The biggest thing that I did was started to pick up new skills. So one of the biggest skills that I picked up was learning SQL, and learning a little bit of coding, because it gave me an advantage on my resume to differentiate myself among other people who are applying to the same. I knew my resume was strong. I knew that I had Deloitte on it. I knew I had my CPA. I knew that I had pretty good GPA coming out of college, because they're still going to look at that 2 years out. But what was that missing piece? There's a ton of people who are looking at these jobs that are coming from Big Four, who are similar profile, right? Had good grades, coming from Big Four, have a CPA. What is going to differentiate me from others? And so for me, it was go learn SQL, go become an expert in Excel. That was always something that recruiters asked about. That was something that hiring managers asked about all the time. It was brought up in my interviews. And that's something that I will say, find a way to differentiate yourself, whether it's learning a new skill, whether it's doing a project outside of work, just something that's going to stick out, because there's thousands of people with a similar profile as you. So what are you going to do to differentiate yourselves? And again, the networking was also important. I got some introductions to some hiring managers as well, who would feed my resume and ask for a referral and things like that. So that was also a piece that I did. And the way that I did that was just looked at LinkedIn. Do I know somebody that knows somebody that works at the company that I'm applying to? And just start cold messaging them and saying, hey, I'm looking to apply. Can you introduce? 1 out of 10 times somebody will respond to me, but a lot of the times it's no response, and that's okay. It's just a numbers game, and you have to kind of understand that you're going to get a lot of no response, but that's just the way it is. Once I figured that all out, I ended up getting my first job outside of Deloitte in industry. And that's where I started my career in revenue accounting. My first offer was for, I think, $70,000 a year with $12,000 worth of equity, and then I think a 10 or 15% bonus. So I was up close to 6 figures right as soon as I got out of public accounting. And that's why I always say public accounting is going to enable you to accelerate your earnings in your accounting career. And I always say public accounting should be your first stop when you think about accounting. So that was kind of my early career journey, through, getting fired from before company. And, what I hope is that it shows you that even if you're getting let go from one of these companies, it still pays off in the end, because it's going to be on your resume forever. I still today in year 11 get asked about my time at Deloitte. It still comes up in conversation. And so it's even valuable today. And so even if you don't do well, or something happens, things that are out of control, there's ways to bounce back. I know people are going through a bunch of different things, and the job market is going a little crazy, but if you get fired, if you get let go, it's not the end of the world. in accounting, the one benefit is that you do have a secure job. Once you get into accounting, it's very hard to get out and, pushed out of accounting if you have the right skills. So you will have a job forever. And I know things are changing with AI, but it just means that the accounting role is going to be more versatile in the end. So I appreciate everybody watching. If you do want more accounting advice, again, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. I love y'all. Peace.